As I have told you students that in physics we are having various types of energies. So here we are going to understand what different types of energies we are having. Here is the kinetic energy, potential energy, nuclear energy, chemical energy, heat energy, light energy and sound energy. So we are going to discuss all these energies one by one now, and I guess you all have already heard about all these energies, and if not, then your concepts about them will going to clear right now. Okay, so let us take first of all the kinetic part. Okay, so kinetic energy, it is a kind of energy in the body due to which a body starts motion. Okay, let me give you one example. If a football is at the rest position and now this football is going to move from here to here. Okay, so previously when it is at rest position, earlier we can say that here we are not having any kind of kinetic energy. Okay, but when this ball is moving and now it is having kinetic energy. So any object which is in motion is a very key point here. Whenever you heard about kinetic energy, your mind automatically get clicked about the motion term. Okay, so kinetic energy is equals to motion. Okay, so anytime we will see that any body, any object, every object like the motion of earth, even motion of moon, or even all these things are possessing kinetic energy. So that means it's a kind of energy which let the body to move from one place to the another place. Okay, these are the examples here, like a car is moving here. So this car must have kinetic energy, then only it would be able to move here. If it is not having that energy, it is not able to move. Okay, and another example is like the balloon is flying over here. Lots of example you can say that even you are walking. If you are walking, then also you can say that I am possessing kinetic energy right now. Now let us see what is potential energy. So according to the definition here, energy stored in a body because of its position or shape, it is called a potential energy. Yeah, of course, like potential of doing something. If somebody is at the rest position, okay, that's fine. But what potential it is storing in the body itself, that is going to convert into another form of energy. Okay, let's suppose here I am giving you one example. This pot here, it is over the wall, okay, on the wall. So if this it is resting here, fine. So we can say that none of the energy is possessed by this pot right now. But no, though it is at rest position right now, but still it is at some height. Okay, and that height, if something like gravity, in gravity chapter you have heard that if something is get dropped from some height, it eventually goes down, and then because of gravity it connect with the kinetic, that is motion. Okay, so here also the same condition is going on. What happened if the pot is fallen down from here to here, then we can say that now this kind of thing here which is at rest position is automatically get the kinetic energy. How come? Is it possible that someone is here and though it is not having any kind of energy, and now quickly it is having a kinetic energy and then it falls off with some motion? Okay, so here is the reason for that. Actually what we think, it is not resting right now, but what is it doing? It is holding the potential here. It is having a potential here. Now because of that potential is getting converted here. Okay, and one more example I want to give you is that like a bow and arrow. Okay, in bow and arrow, like here, so when you stretch this thread part in bow and arrow, okay, so you are stretching it here like this. Okay, so when you are stretching it, it is possessing potential energy in itself, like it is trying to store energy, and that stored energy now quickly get converted into a kinetic energy. That is why it goes with here very speedily. Okay, so potential energy is what? It is the kind of energy that is stored in the body itself and that converts into another form of energy. And mainly because this potential and kinetic energy both are the parts of mechanical energy. Okay, so we can say like here in this condition also it was earlier resting, so we can say it is at potential energy, and now these potential energy get converted into a kinetic energy. Okay students, this potential and kinetic energy we are going to discuss this in very elaborate manner in the later slide, but here is just an brief introduction about the potential and kinetic energy. So what you going to think now? According to the kinetic energy, it is in the motion always, and potential energy which is at the rest or the shape that is formed by stretching or squeezing, any kind of form change. Okay, so here together these two, kinetic and potential energy, will make mechanical energy. Okay, now this mechanical energy are having two parts, that is this. Now you can see here the diagram of the truck. It is moving here like in elevation plane. Okay, so now what does it suggest? According to the potential energy, here something which is at some height is containing potential energy. Yeah, right. And if the motion of the body is here, then we can say it is possessing a kinetic energy. Yeah, it is also true. Now here in this diagram, as you can see, the truck is moving up on the hill, right? So it is moving up on the hill. Here it is gaining certain height, that we can say it is gaining the potential energy here, right? So we can say that this truck is now gaining a potential energy as it is moving on the height. Okay, and because it is moving, that means motion is here. So here we can say that kinetic energy is also plays a part. So students, potential plus kinetic together gives you mechanical energy. And what is mechanical energy? Mechanical is something like you can suggest a word for doing work. Okay, suggest a word for doing a work, like if I am doing here certain work, like I am pulling my hand like this, so it's a kind of sort of mechanical work, okay, that is done by you or a machine part, but in a physical state manner. Okay, it is not just like a gravitational where you even can't see which rays, which field is pulling you towards the core. Okay, we cannot see that, but in mechanical form you will see certain action is going on every body. Like if a body is moving, you can say that it is doing mechanical work. Okay, so for doing mechanical work we need mechanical energy, and that is a part of potential and kinetic one. Now students, let us see what is nuclear energy. Okay, so here the energy that is generated from nuclear reaction is called nuclear energy, and it is mainly used in power plants, nuclear power plants, to generate electricity. Yes students, what happened here, you know, you all are familiar with this word atom, right? So in atom we are having one is nucleus part, that is in between. It is a core part of the atom, and around it electrons are revolving like this. Okay, so this nucleus is having two material inside it, two particles, that is the protons and the neutrons. Protons and neutrons here. So because of the reaction of this nucleus part, like if we try to react it with certain electron, if we bombard it with certain electrons, or if any atom is get combined with any other atom very quickly in a speed manner, okay, so that release a huge amount of energy. It can be bombarded by electrons also, or some alpha particles also. Okay, so all these things, what it get? It produces a very huge amount of energy, and that energy we can use to generate electricity. You know, in power plants what we just need some big amount of energy just to rotate the turbine. Okay, that turbine actually is in between two magnetic fields. Okay, two magnets that is producing a magnetic field, and because of the rotation of the turbine that is filled with the coil. Okay, this turbine is filled with coils of copper or iron wire or any sort of wire that is conducting material. So now when this is rotating very fast because of the huge amount of energy, now all this thing will get electricity to get produced, and that electricity now gets stored into the powerhouses and then distributed to all over the city. So this is like nuclear energy is get used. Even it is used in another ways also, like scientists are using this for another methods for generating more and more electricity, and to use it like using for different development parts of the countries and for rocket launchings, various methods. But it should be used in a good manner, not as a weapon to kill somebody. Okay, like some countries are also trying to use this as a war weapon. Okay, so that must be prohibited and must be checked regularly by the United Nations. Okay, so this was the nuclear energy. And chemical energy part here, because chemistry, it is all related with this atoms and molecules, all these things. Okay, so what is chemical energy is here just the energy that is generated by some chemical reaction. As I have told you right now, this atom is get bombarded with some particles and then it release energy. So in the same manner, it is at the huge amount, it is at the high level. Okay, so here when the nuclear energy is get used, it is like a huge amount, but chemical energy here is for a small purposes. So the chemical reaction is generating the energy that is known as chemical energy. Even that you can do at like doing some home remedies also, and doing some experiments at lab also. Okay, when you are mixing two reactions, like even acids and bases are get reacted, so they will generate a little amount of heat there also. So that energy that is required for the chemical reaction to get performed. Okay, without that kind of energy, if chemical reaction are not going to perform, is known as not known as the chemical energy. But like in doing a chemical reaction, if some energy is get used, then it is known as chemical energy, and if some energy is also liberated, then also it is known as chemical energy. Here we are having mainly two types of chemical energy, that is endothermic and exothermic. Okay, endothermic and exothermic. So as I have told you right now, if we are using it like in making the reaction get happen, in means endo and out means exo, that is releasing part. Okay, so that is how chemical energy works. And here one more chemical reaction, major particular example that you even use it in physics, in electricity chapter also, and even various connections like you are using. So all these kinds of energy here we are having inside the cell. Cell are having graphite, and that graphite is consist of electrons. One electron, free electrons are there, so that free electrons are reasonable for the chemical reaction that is happening inside it, and that again generate electricity, as I have told you. Okay, so this also can be example. And even I remember the part of from the chemistry that you are using like this, like electrodes are using at anode and cathode, and so the reaction is going on here also. So here the part of chemical that is releasing some amount of energy, that is known as chemical energy here. So our next topic here is the heat energy. So what is it? As name suggests, heat. Heat is the type of itself, it's a type of energy. Okay, so when a body has a high temperature, it has a heat energy. Okay, like as you can see, a hot cup of coffee. Okay, so it is having a heat also, it is having a huge high temperature, and that high temperature is a kind of energy that is flowing from high to low. Okay, so every time you see the heat energy, it is actually expanding in nature. Okay, and it always move from high to low. Okay, so this is what heat energy. Now going to the next forward, light energy. Here in light energy, you know that energy produces from light is known as the light energy. So here is the example of bulb, yeah, and example of sun also. See, there is a difference between heat and light. Some students get confused by it, as I can distinguish it for you people. Here you see bulb. After a while, like after a long time, if you are using a bulb, so bulb get heat up. That because of friction that is between the electron parts. Okay, the electrons which are moving, that produces electricity. Fine. So they are rubbing to each other, that is why they are getting heat. Okay, but what is light here is the light that is coming and enables us to see, things. So there is a difference, dear, that if we are actually looking at something and it is visible to us, that because of light, not because of heat. And if something is very hot and even not throwing any light, like a cup of tea, I have given you the example, that was not throwing any kind of light there, but it was hot. So because of high temperature, and that temperature is moving from high to low part. That is why the cup of coffee or tea get low temperature and get cold after some time, because that energy of temperature, in the form of temperature, that heat energy is moving from high to low, and what is low part there? That was the surrounding part. Okay, now but here the light is not having any limitation. It is like a boom. Okay, that is moving to infinite part. Wherever we can see, wherever it can go, it is very able to meet there. And the light is moving with the speed of 10 to 3 multiplied 10 to the power 8 meters per second. That you can assume is almost 3 lakh kilometers in just 1 second. Okay, so that is the capability of light, and that is why the light that is thrown from the sun reaches to the earth planet in 8 minutes. Okay, so whatever the sun is doing for us is a very great job, and because of that only we are having daylight, and in daylight we can do a lots of work because our eyes can sense that. Okay, our eyes are not sensing heat, our eyes are just sensing light, and that is also a form of energy. So students, are two new last form of energy that we need to discuss here in physics, that is sound and electrical energy. So the whole chapter on sound, you have seen that thing. Okay, so sound is a sort of energy that enables us to hear, as the light energy enables us to see things. Okay, so here, as you know, when the firecrackers burst, then we heard a lot of noise there on Diwali time also. So what does it? It is sound that is produced. Even you are able right now to listen my voice. Okay, that is what? That is also a sound energy. But here I am not standing in front of you right now, but still you are able to see me. And even when this chapter is all get recorded, even that is past time for according to you. Yeah, but still On present of yours, you are able to see that is technology, and that is again because of the development of electrical energy. And because of electricity, we are now able to do certain kinds of things, because everything, our laptop, our mobile, our iPad and everything is working on electricity only. So the development of electricity is a very great boom for us. Okay, so these are the types of energies, students. Now, as I have told you, we are going to have the brief discussion about all these energies that we have done. Now, let us see the kinetic and the potential energy in a elaborated manner.